Ghana, a West African nation with beautiful landscapes. Sadly, it's become one of the biggest dumping grounds to 15 million pieces of used clothing every week. Can you imagine swimming across the biggest man-made lake in the world? The Lake Volta right here in Ghana. Yvette Tetteh plans to do that. She's been on this month-long journey swimming across this lake to bring awareness to textile waste that is happening across Ghana. This country is the biggest receiver of secondhand clothes around the world, which means there's a lot of waste here. 40% of the clothes donated to Ghana end up in our ecosystem, and it's polluting some of our waters. So what she's doing is really phenomenal. We're gonna join her today as she swims across the lake, and she's been doing this every day for about anywhere from 2 to 4 hours each day, swimming across this lake, taking water samples to see what is in the water here. The goal is to prevent this water becoming as polluted as some of the other water bodies in Ghana. So let's join the boat and enjoy this day and learn more about what exactly she's doing to raise awareness. Swimmers are getting on the boat now. Yvette Tetteh is an athlete and activist who began this journey to bring awareness to the problem of textile waste in Ghana. She partnered with the OR Foundation doing scientific research on the impact of textile waste in the country's environment. This expedition I joined was in April. We embarked on a journey with Yvette to swim in solidarity to support the cause of bringing attention to the problem of textile waste in the country. We sailed into the Volta, where we could join swimming 3, 2, or 1 kilometers to match our fitness level for swimming in this water. Lake Volta and the Volta River are still some of the cleanest water bodies in the country. There is a great fear that if the continued dumping of used clothing in Ghana continues in excess, it may result in polluting more of our water. Everyone made a splash to start our swim in support of Yvette's cause. 3 kilometers may not sound like much, but if you're not a professional swimmer, it truly is a journey. All right, so I'm here with Yvette, who is the woman behind this whole expedition, swimming across the Lake Volta, all in the name of raising awareness of textile pollution in Ghana. I want to hear more about what your background is and what inspired you to even start this.
I am a British Ghanaian young person, I think, an entrepreneur, creative, someone who's been living in Ghana for the last 7-8 years. And it's interesting to me because people are always so surprised when they hear about this swim in the Volta River and the Volta Lake. But for me, I've already been swimming in this body of water for many years, just like for fun, go visit friends who live along the river and just swim because I could. And so it's been really a wonderful experience to see other people really start to engage with that kind of recreational way of being in the water. So yeah, that for me has been a very exciting journey, in addition to doing all the research for the project.
Okay. With this swim, you definitely are a strong swimmer, because I jumped in, I didn't last long, but you're a strong swimmer. Is this something you've been doing your whole life?
I started swimming, I think, when I was 4 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really a long time. And did it a bit competitively when I was in primary school, secondary school, and then didn't swim competitively, really just swam for fun for a long time. And yeah, as I said, I just was already swimming the Volta a lot. But for this particular expedition, like, I knew obviously it would be way beyond what I had ever done.
Right.
And so I trained for about 9 months before we actually started the swim. So several times a week, swimming for minimum 1 hour, but sometimes 2 hours, working with a coach, running outside, running in the gym, working with weights, like really being an athlete for real.
Yeah.
Which is funny because it's like, I'm not an athlete technically, I'm just a person.
Well, I take you as an athlete.
Yeah, I think now I'm an athlete.
Yeah. And with this, how many kilometers are you swimming in the lake?
So
total?
we finished the lake portion of the expedition. It's hard because there's all these we all are used to saying the Volta River or the Volta Lake, but there's all these different portions. So we actually started in the Black Volta, moved into the Volta River, moved into the Volta Lake and our Nara Kosombo, and from here we'll be going the last leg of down the Volta River. So up till now, we've probably traversed maybe at least 300 kilometers.
Okay.
Yeah, from the northern region to here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you've been doing this for a month so far?
Yes, 30 days. Yeah, exactly.
How much more do you think you have to go?
Much, maybe like 8 days.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
honestly,
you're
that
almost
feels
on the
like
last
nothing.
leg.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
The first to arrive. Everyone was excited as the swimmers came in for their final stretch. Ghanaian artist One Love Kubelor was one of the swimmers who came to support the cause.
How do you feel? I feel like right now, if I'm going to Lome and I reach Aflao, instead of paying the bribe at the border, I will just swim the ocean into Lome, across the border in the water. I've trained for it today. I feel good, I feel dizzy, I feel nauseous and great.
So what made you decide to join this? Because it's for a cause, it's not just for leisure.
Right. So we've been swimming in different water bodies with the exception of this course, like in the lake. And once I heard it, I'm not letting it pass me by, right? So that's why I came to.
So it's the same here. We swim in the ocean in different pools. We've been exploring different water bodies. This is the first time in a river, and we felt that it will be a good challenge, and then also supporting the cause of the lady in charge of this. So yeah, I came to have fun and then do this as well.
This was also an opportunity to teach all of us about the research being done to test the waters and learn what state the lake is in.
The whole point of the work is that it's about having an experience together with everyone who's here, everyone who lives in Ghana, everyone that we meet along the way. And so it's been such a beautiful experience to see other people genuinely feel excited about this expedition. When I'm swimming and it's been 2.5 hours and I'm really tired, I'm definitely asking myself, why am I doing this? And to see people have an experience through this experience is just so satisfying.
Climate change is manifesting in Ghana in the irregularity of both rain and heat. And so as the water temperature changes, the organisms that are able to survive in the water, the fish, all of these things also become at risk or become more scarce, etc. This is going to lead to migration, and people have a tendency to migrate along the water. So they're just going to other communities who then, experience a disaster, who then move to other communities who are under-resourced, and so on and so forth. So it's absolutely being experienced, and it's something that is alarming and something that I hope this expedition will bring to light and lead more eyes to.
If people get to learn that they can swim River Volta, they can kayak River Volta, they can cruise on it, as you've seen with the boat we were on, and in bigger boats in the lakeside, then they have some emotional attachment to it. If they ever hear that there's half a Chinese person digging a hole anywhere near there, they are the first to write articles, raise hell to the parliamentarians and everything else. Not many of us, we only know, for example, the other rivers by name. None of us have ever been on it. None of us have seen the Burim. None of us have seen that. So when we hear someone is messing up, oh, they're messing up our rivers, and then off we go. But if you have swum Lake Volta, it's personal. The fight becomes personal, and you will contribute in whatever way you can to protecting it.
With such insightful conversations on how the surrounding communities are affected, it was also important for me to learn about the techniques used when collecting water samples for testing in order to understand how much pollution is in the water. So this is one of the devices that you use in part of the process?
Yes.
What does this do?
So this is an air sampler. It's a Coriolis air sampler. So the process has been that every evening we set this to a 2-hour stretch. And so it then is able to suck in air via this suction. And then the residue ends up sitting in this tube at the bottom. So this would then be the test tube for the air sampler, in the same way that the regular sized test tubes that we know are for water samples. And so once we have the residue here, then we also go through the processing stage to also then assess the air quality and what we're finding in the air that we're breathing in the various locations that we've collected air samples from.
Have you found anything so far?
We haven't done any further studies yet outside of collecting the samples.
Okay.
The goal now is that at the end of the expedition, we will take all the collected samples, take back to Accra with us so that the science team at the All Foundation then does the processing to then tell us what they're finding in the water, in the air and water samples.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
We drove to see the boat that they've been using for the entire expedition. Perfectly named, The Woman Who Does Not Fear, it embodies the strength of Yvette on this mission. The team can sleep on this solar-powered boat for days as she swims, and they collect water samples for testing. So with this solar-powered boat, how many hours or days does the power last?
So when it's fully charged, we can do at full throttle about 3 hours. Okay, but because it's a research boat and there's a swimmer attached who's only going to be swimming 2 to 3 kilometers per hour, it's just perfect. Unless, of course, you run into bad weather, and then in that case, it becomes basically a survival kind of situation where, okay, where's the nearest tree? Where's the nearest shore? How do we get to? But all of this was part of the intense experience of doing something that we knew was going to be beneficial to the environment.
Great, great. Thank you.
You're much welcome.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Your Guide on Ghana. My name is Ivy Prosper, and this has been a really interesting story. I hope that you learned a lot from it about what's going on in Ghana's environment and how you can do your part to help support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. In May, Yvette completed the journey of 450 kilometers, making history as the first person to swim across the entire Volta. Join her in the campaign to stop textile waste in Ghana.